Now it's time to thread our bobbin. The first thing I'm going to do is raise the presser foot and move this little black button over to the right. That pops off my clear view cover so I can reach in and get my bobbin. This machine uses class 15 transparent bobbins, so if you need to go to the store and buy more bobbins, make sure they're a transparent class 15. Otherwise, they're not going to work in the machine very well. Now we're going to put our spool of thread in the machine, so remove the spool cap and put your thread on the spool pin. Cap it off. Bring your thread over to where it says number 1, and bring it under that, and then bring it to this metal thread guide and around. Now you're at the bobbin winding tension disc, so bring the thread under this little finger looking area and bring it back and around the bobbin winding tension disc, and make sure the thread's secure underneath. Now come over to your bobbin winding spindle and put the thread into the bobbin and out a hole on the top. Grab the tail and snap the bobbin onto the spindle. And make sure it's all the way on, or the thread could possibly wrap around the spindle, and that's kind of a pain to get off. Move the spindle over to the right, and that engages the bobbin winding mode, and you can also see that on your screen. Either press the foot control, or if your foot control is removed, you can use the start-stop button to begin winding. When the thread tail is buried, clip the thread on top, flush with the top, and wind the bobbin until you are satisfied with how full it is, or until it is full. When the bobbin is full, the machine will beep and stop winding. Move the bobbin winding spindle back to the left, take off your bobbin, and trim the thread. Now we can put it into the machine. Before we put our bobbin into our bobbin case, make sure that the thread is coming off in a counterclockwise direction, or the tail will make it look like the letter P. P for perfect sewing. Put the bobbin into the bobbin case. Lightly hold the top of your bobbin with your finger and bring the thread under this metal piece and lay it off to the side. Snap on your clear view cover and we're ready to thread the upper thread. If you just wound a bobbin, the top of your machine probably looks like this. I'm going to remove the thread back towards the spool pin, and I'm going to start over. So number 1, I'm going to go under here. I'm going to bring it around number 2, down number 3, U-turn at number 4, and another big U-turn at number 5, and back down to 6. Then I'm going to place my thread into the metal guide right above the needle. Use my finger to push down on the built-in needle threader and bring the thread under the hook and over. Now there are prongs encompassing the needle, so bring the thread in between those prongs. Hold the thread so that there's some light tension and release the built-in needle threader. Now there's a little loop behind your needle and pull it. Now your needle's threaded. But there's one last thing I want to do. I want to draw up the bobbin thread. So hold the upper thread in your hand and turn the hand wheel towards you 1 complete rotation. And when I pull on the upper thread, I see another loop. That's my bobbin thread. So I'm going to pull that up and put both threads underneath the presser foot. Now we're ready to test sew. Now I'm ready to test and make sure I threaded the machine properly. When I turned the machine on, it already selected a straight stitch. So all I need to do is place my fabric underneath the presser foot, lower it, and begin sewing. The needle will stop in the down position, so press your needle up down button, and that raises the needle to the highest position. But on this machine we also have an automatic thread trimmer, so I'm going to press that button, raise the presser foot, and it automatically trimmed my thread. It looks good on the top and the bottom, so my machine is threaded properly and I'm ready to sew my project. However, if I'd sewn and it looked like this on the top, but this mess on the bottom, it means that I probably didn't thread my upper thread properly. Rethread your machine and check your manual. Now let's sew a seam.